What is going on? I'm Zedmot. We're going to be doing something a little bit special today, and that is I'm going to remind you to put code Zedmot in your shop in the beginning of the video instead of the... I'm just kidding. We're going to be doing some operation attacks using these beautiful, beautiful Rainmakers. Now, as you likely know, HQ24 brought us extra landing craft spots, so we get 2 Rainmakers per boat, which is pretty darn awesome, especially when you consider that we've got 12 statues now. So I'm going to be going with 6 gunboat energy, 5 troop damage, and 1 troop health. Now, troop health, not super duper useful when using Rainmakers, but it doesn't hurt, and it really is helpful with crabs, so that's why I've got that in my statue lineup. Now, you might be wondering why the heck I have a boat of heavies. Now, the boat of heavies are strictly there to get shot in the face. The couple attacks that I want to show you that I'm hoping to get recorded in the next day or 2 are going to be using some heavies. I might swap those out, but for now, those are there. I'm also going to be using Everspark with her universal remote. Now, these are operation attacks that you must do. Please look out for these. I want to get this out as soon as possible so that you guys have the operation chance to look for these. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it because I can't wait to show you this. Now, I will be full boosted for every single attack, but I'm going to be recording in the next couple days, so if you see some weird little glitchy details in the video, that is why. Okay, first up is Minotaur, and the reason for Minotaur I'm going to show you. I'm not even going to talk about it, I'm just going to jump right into it. Now, this is one of my favorite attacks. The other is going to be Centaur. I figured, you know what, I will let you in on a little bit of the secret. So we are going to head over to this left-hand side on Minotaur. Though the rocket garden on the right-hand side is not super duper full in this instance. Not that it really matters, but generally speaking, that rocket garden on the right-hand side could have all of the rockets, and it won't matter because this is going to be absolutely, absolutely amazing. I can't explain just how much I like this attack. This turns out to be so much fun if it's done well. If it's done poorly, well, it's the exact opposite. But I should be able to do a decent enough job to get all of my troops in there. And you're going to see right about now exactly what I'm talking about, why I brought Everspark and why I brought the heavies. The heavies are going to pop out over there. That's going to distract those shock launchers for a couple seconds. That's going to make them shoot something else, and then we're going to go like this. And now all of our heavies are going to do all sorts of good stuff. They're going to clear all of the things. And that shock launcher is going to get distracted by the other things down below just for long enough that we can go like this. We're going to throw a medkit, something like this, and then all of our Rainmakers are just going to crush all of the buildings nearby. Now, just a quick note that Rainmakers do target based on most damage. So another thing you can do is by throwing a what is that called? By throwing an artillery onto those shock launchers, we could have also made our Rainmakers target those shock launchers first, but a bunch of sniper towers were in range, so probably doing it this way worked out a little bit better. Now, the other thing to note is that Rainmakers will not target the core unless you keep flaring the core. So I'm trying to save a little bit of gunboat energy, knowing that I need to flare that core very, very soon, because otherwise our Rainmakers will keep targeting those mortars and things, and we don't want them to target the mortars. We want them to target that core right there. Now, Everspark's going to go dive, as Everspark likes to do, but this gap is so magical, and I've shown this before. I try to show this every time the Rainmakers come, just because them shooting over that gap is one of the magical, magical moments when it comes to Boom Beach. And every time a new troop comes out that's fairly long range, the first question that's asked is, can they shoot across that gap? And nothing does it like Rainmakers do. Now, my flare is going to expire here. You'll notice that all of a sudden my Rainmakers start targeting the nearest, closest damaged building. So we're going to throw that flare back onto the core. That's going to get them going. And I'm going to keep my GBE for flares because, I mean, this base is done. Those rockets on the right-hand side can't range us. Those mortars can't range us. When there's flamethrowers and machine guns by the core, they can't range us. The only thing you have to worry about is shock launchers and sniper towers and stuff like that. So just one of my favorite attacks. It is, you definitely need a whole bunch of gunboat energy to be able to pull it off. But when it goes down, it is the most beautiful, amazing attack that there is to be done. And it can be done on any level, all the way from Foxtrot up to Duplexity, depending on your Minotaur health. Now, you'll see we had a 298 Minotaur on dead end, which is fairly beefy, and we managed to take it down with one Rainmaker lost. So that is pretty darn magical, and that is a perfect scenario for me. Those heavies saved us some gunboat energy. They distracted some buildings. They weren't super useful, but even just by saving us some gunboat energy, I find that they're worth adding in. You might add in other troops like riflemen, even Zookas, but heavies for me are the answer, and I'd love to hear what you guys use if you're mixing in some other troops with your operation attacks. But that, my friends, is Minotaur solo using Rainmakers. We'll be back in just a second. I'm going to jump to another task force that I've pre-filled with intel, and I'll be back. Centaur, Centaur, Centaur. This is far, far more difficult than doing a solo when it comes to Minotaur. Centaur has so much health on the core. It's got in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 to 5 million health, depending on your layout, so need to be a little bit careful. Notice that I've got Brick loaded. Now, Brick is going to help initially, and then she's going to be completely useless, which that kind of goes for all heroes when it comes to Centaur. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Brick in here. I am going to throw an artillery on that boom cannon right there, and the reason for that is I want all of my troops to target that right there. I am not going to hit the battle orders button quite yet. Otherwise, all things are going to go to pot. Now, this back corner is going to be super duper tight, and it's going to be very, very difficult to get all of my troops in that corner. But on the plus side, Rainmakers bunch up incredibly tightly. So next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw an artillery over here. You see Brick runs the heck away, but she should be in position long enough to get at least one more battle orders out. Now I just need to get this shock right there out. It was so close to dying, but I think that we now should have enough damage, and our Rainmakers are getting pummeled by those rockets. I thought we were going to be in a nice little spot to not have that happen. But it appears that our Rainmakers have decided they're going to go up into range of those rockets. It looks like they're out of range when it comes to scouting, but suddenly they have made themselves into range. So I think that flare actually moved them out. It is that close that they managed to move out by moving like a quarter of a millimeter, or like a eighth of an 16th, a 32nd of an inch, or I don't know standard units. Anyways, all of our troops are now blasting towards that core. Good things are happening. And Brick, not super useful, but just the fact that they got our troops shooting a little bit faster and doing a little bit more damage, very, very useful. That one Rainmaker can't make up its mind of if that flamethrower is in range or not. Suddenly it is in range, so a little bit of confusion on the part of our Rainmakers, but I'm going to throw all my gunboat energy towards that flamethrower, trying to get my Rainmaker back on target as soon as we possibly can. And of course, it leaves like 4 health on that flamethrower. So we are wasting time right now. That core is not going anywhere near as fast as we need it to. And this is the issue with Centaur. You are going to be so close, and maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't. So I don't recommend using Rainmakers against Centaur unless you have a task force where you've got some free extra attacks, because it is so frustrating watching your Rainmakers blast away and finally not get the shield down or not get the core down. I think we're going to get it, but it's definitely going to be a bit of a barn burner. There's going to be some drama involved. Drama, red pajama. Anyways, it is so frustrating, and you have to have so much patience. And when it comes to Boom Beach, part of the reason why I use Zookas and Warriors and fast troops is I just don't have patience when it comes to waiting. But on the plus side, there's nothing else we can do here, and that shield is going to get burned with about 30 seconds left on the clock, so that should be enough time for our Rainmakers to finish this puppy off. So just in closing here, Minotaur, yes, because there's no shield, I would highly recommend bringing Rainmakers out. With Centaur, getting those left-hand side shields can be very, very frustrating because your troops will shoot everything else. In this layout, maybe I would have been better to do that. And on the right-hand side here, you can drop some Zukas or one Rainmaker, depending on the layout. But with that laser and a whole bunch of buildings in front, it wasn't the right call. 10 seconds left, was not in the right place when the core blew, but you get the basic idea. Anyways, that is all for me. As always, thanks for coming in. Hopefully you're having fun with Rainmakers. I definitely am. I shall talk to you soon. Thanks for coming in. Peace!